Oh no, Anon has figured out that maybe, just maybe, Reed wants to smooch his sister's butt. Ew! I like how Anon's finally come to realize at age 18 that some people might actually look at his sister's ass. How has this never come up before? It should have, right? I feel like you should have a more of a responsive, like, of course. Actually, shouldn't he immediately dive towards the direction of, like, you know, just being into the butt? Because I feel like Anna would have had oglers. That's just how teenagers go about things. Not saying it's right, but I feel like Anon should be more aware of it. And not immediately assume it's love or anything of the sorts. Not that he is. Okay, no, he does. I don't like this. Shouldn't Anon, like the horniest motherfucker who has a whole bunch of sins on his back, be like the most willing to jump towards the obvious conclusion if you're just a horny pervert? Stop being a creepy sex pervert. This is not how I want to talk this over with you. Then why did you look at her ass, man? Feels like you were asking for it. Betrayal. I am betrayed! Betrayal! It's not how it is, I swear. Not that I can really afford to bitch and moan about my habits at the moment. I mean, you're also falling for someone else's, for your friend's sister, so. Man, it's really awkward. Are you like dating across the lanes? And of course, you gotta make sure they're a decent man. If they aren't, why the hell did your dad ask you? I feel like you're like the last person to ask about this. Leave that to your sister. She's your mother's daughter. She hasn't done a great job beating Fang up, I feel. I like her a lot. That's such a fucking shit thing to say to someone who's kicking the habit. What, am I gonna have to show up in 10 years and kick you off my sister? God damn. Man. Don't know how it started. We don't know how this fucking started. I'm not perfect. Hello, she's not either, really. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't just say, I'm not perfect. And I know she's not. Like, what the fuck, dude? You can't just walk up to your partner and go like, I'm not perfect. I know you're also like kind of shit. That's kind of what you're saying. Don't say this to a woman's face, or to any partner, really. You can say that about yourself, but saying it about the person you supposedly love is such a fucking like, stealth low blow. Might as well kick him in the nuts while you're at it. Dude, if you're quitting drugs because of her, you're gonna be right back on the second this goes south. And it will. You're still my friend, man. You're just like the friend of the person I'm having sex with. I swear I was coming over to your house just to look at your ass. Oh. But if I don't like the idea of you going out with Anna, sorry, I'll bring you around to it. It's a ballsy answer. It is. I feel like your dad would have opinions about the fact. I feel like the average already getting too involved father would probably be like, oh no, I don't like this. I'm immune to propaganda. I'm a real man. And then one of the fuckers is like slurping up all the fucking Kool-Aid. Like a goddamn idiot. I'm immune to propaganda. This isn't propaganda. Of course it's not. It's just telling me what I should feel in a political discourse. That's not propaganda at all. I'm informed. God damn. You know, I'll give you the wisdom of a wise man if you want my complete opinion condensed down. There is no man more vulnerable to propaganda than the man who thinks he is. So the second you think you don't have to pay any fucking attention, that's when you get the fucking Ebola virus. Because you dropped the stitch. You bingus. That's why education and like teaching people to be aware and observant of things is far more important than anything else. Whatever. So he's laying it out that he's gonna bone my sister, and all I can think about is that they make a fucking hot couple, and I want to watch. And I'm not into cucking. I'm not getting cucked. She's my sister. You know, you say that, but that actually makes it worse. Oh. This could have been done at a better time. But listen, you're making it sound like this is like a serious discussion that came out of the door. You looked at her ass, man. I feel like you're inviting conversation that way. I don't want to say anything that you could consider. Also, man, it's such a long wind between this and like the last recording entirely because I got a phone call. I got a phone call. Which I didn't even know was a phone call because I have my headset on and it's really hard to listen to that. I don't know for fucking phone calls. My life's just phone calls now. My entire life's just goddamn phone calls. I will say chapter 15 for how big it is just fucking hot air, man. It really feels sometimes like these fanfic authors, they've got like 3 plot points they want to touch upon, and they're going to make it into 15,000 words regardless on how much it actually needs. And it's like, oh, we're going to do 20,000 words? Are we going to have more plot points? Nah, we're just still going to have 3 of them. We don't need the space, but you know, I like having leg room. Even though it's not how that works at all. Somebody with a fucking pizza. Where the... I like how Mo's like, wait a minute. Are you gay homosexuals? Have I misread the room? Are you in a harem? I heard kids love harems these days. You may now kiss your husband, Anon. Women. Let's see fair of that. How about you say that when they're around, man? Old man. Your kids look nervous. Why would Anon be nervous? Like, I know he's unsure what to do about this, but it's your fucking sister, man. Don't you want to split off of her? Why would you be her fucking dad in this situation? I like how you also complain about how you're turning into your parents, and now you're like... There's so many moments in this story where it feels like characters just definitely don't want to do stuff, and then they do stuff that very much makes them into that anyway. And it doesn't feel like the plot is aware of the fact that the characters are allowing that to happen despite them being contrary to their own wishes, right? It's like they're too fucking stupid to realize they're the source of their own problems. Because the actual problem he wants to talk about is... like, how to explain this? The story doesn't really want to address the problems it creates for the characters because it's trying to talk about the other problem over there. So it doesn't feel aware of it. It's just constantly leaning in that direction. Like, Anna wants to move away from his sister, but he keeps butting into it anyway. And he keeps inviting her over, and he keeps trying to keep that relationship around. It makes him sound disingenuous. Like, he doesn't actually want it, and I guess that's fine. That's probably the plot anyway. It's gonna be, oh man, I want my sister around all this time. But I feel like someone should call him the fuck out. Like, this is what I mean with conversation, right? You want, at some point, a character to point out to someone else, but Anon, why the fuck do you keep inviting her on dinners like this? You can't build distance from someone if you keep hanging out with them. Like, Fang is the perfect person to call that out, given everything that happened. Reed might do it from the perspective of, like, fuck, I don't want you around during my dates, you know? Like, I get it, you know, you're worried, but you keep talking about wanting to have some distance, and here you are, fucking sitting in the bushes, watching my date with her. Do you not see the irony? That's why you have other characters. Sometimes to call each other out. That's what friends are for also in real life. It would also give the story some more conflict because Anon could be, you know, kind of indignant about being called out on it. It's like, no, this is different. You know, some fucking conflict and conversation at once. Ugh, we got the characters while we're at it. Ha damn. The trifecta's all here. And that's all my life. I've known a dad longer. I personally love the idea that... this is just like the weird home canon. I like the idea that he didn't even know what the fuck a godfather was. So he was just like, yeah, sure. And then when they explained to him, he was like, oh. I was wondering why you're making such a big deal out of it. Ugh. Yeah, but he's not blood related to the family at all. It's just you gotta call him uncle or he won't give you free pizza. Little Luce. I don't like that he calls him Luce. Pretty sure he always says Lucy in the games. And he even called her Lucy at the beginning. And he even called her Fang. Like, what are we doing? Which angle are we taking? Are we doing kickflips? I love kickflips. Not that I doubted myself before. I've been giving myself the chance a second to guess. It's Fang and I confirm things. You think you can do right by make it feel appreciated? I think you need to do more than that, buddy. Why are you being this insistent, man? Like, I understand what you're trying to do here, but don't you think that he's gonna have this conversation with fucking Ripley down the line? So you get a good relationship with support. That's easy. 2, don't let Ripley push you around that old sack of bones! Damn! Nothing more than a pushover when it comes to his family. Just get him some nice chocolates, and he'll be poisoned to death. Gotta roll with the punches. Man, this poor guy is watching both of his godchildren go and date, and he probably is like, eh. Man, both of you could have done so much fucking better. One of them dates this sad sack of shit, and the other one's dating a little tyrant. Great. Great. What the fuck did you do, Ripley? What did you do to my godchildren, Ripley? I thought they were gonna date some nice kids. Not this. Yeah, as their own person, they make their own decisions. I like how you say that when you were explicitly told by your fucking dad not to, and you were like, and you decided to bring that up. You could have just not. You could have just summarized it as, my dad told me to watch out for, I don't care. You know, give your own fucking opinion. Did he? Maybe I missed that because, again, I don't fucking care, man. Like, yeah, he does seem to kind of agree with it. Yeah. So basically, Jesus Christ, man, just fucking pick a lane. This doesn't feel like the kind of problem you'd have at age 18. This feels like the kind of problem you'd run into at like age 16. Like when you're a little younger and responsibilities are finally getting thrown your way and you're actually starting to acclimate to it. Feels like Anon's too old to be having this kind of question asked of him. He's a fucking adult, man. Shouldn't it be more about that independence? Like when you think about it, this Snoot game, Anon is very much leaning on his independence and is okay with it and handling it fairly well. Sure, his diet ain't great, but he's managing. I don't know. It's a whole different Anon. That's why I keep saying this isn't Anon. Just glad you're having. And it's just crying. Softer smile. Yeah, that might be my favorite. Their eyes are relaxing. Stop being so tense. Why can't you fucking use some descriptive prose? Her eyes relax, almost as if everything has gone right and nothing can go wrong. Something cute. The weight of the world sunk from her shoulders. So forth. I don't know. Reed looks to say, why aren't Anna and Fang the same way? Because they're fucking women. And as we all know, women can't get fat when they're in a story. They can't physically alter their weight, so they can eat how much they want. And they always have the metabolism to somehow avoid digesting it. That, or they're both bulimic and they're not showing. I feel like a story like this really would benefit from some bulimia. Like Anna's perfection comes at a physical cost. I feel it's just a story that people don't think about is weight image problems on women. People don't think about like how heavy the requirements are of a lady these days. It hasn't gone away. Body positivity movement has turned into the Ozempic movement, which in turn has only made things worse. Although personally, I think body positivity is never really the term you want to go with. More body respect. You know, everyone's got their own shit going on. You don't have to be positive about it, just not an asshole. But at that point, we get into my D&D philosophy that there are no problem player classes or roles or anything. They're just assholes. They're all assholes. Stop giving them names and making them feel entitled like it's something they can't avoid, like it's their genes. They're just being fucking rude. Ugh. I want to like me enough to do free pizza again. The drummer of Worm Drama. Why the fuck would you describe Reed like that? He's dating your sister, man. It's such a distant way to describe a guy that you consider your friend. And is also, again, dating your sister. It's really weird. This guy literally drove you home after you got smacked around, right? And you describe him like you've read about him in a magazine. Ugh. It says a lot about Anon, but not the bright kind. It doesn't fit this particular grown version of him either. Also, why the fuck would you refer to him in like I'm kind of okay with this if you called him this while you were at while they were doing a performance or you're in the auditorium and they're practicing, but you're like having a pizza date. Why is this the thing that comes to mind? Call him a cold turkey because he's quit. Proper food, dino nuggies. We don't have any, I guess. Why would you need to get things cleaned up? Didn't you drive here a minute ago? You don't need that much fucking space for some dino nuggies. They have to fit in the fridge, dude. I miss me being away for an hour. Ugh. I'll re-drove over. Maybe they won't. I don't know, man. Doesn't matter. Chill with your sister. Really, we got crap to do. Shouldn't have eaten that 8th slice. Dude, don't they slice them at 8? I mean, you could always take a doggy bag. I heard that's one form of customized in America to take food with you. The portions are big and it's meant to go home. Day 2 of your relationship. Shouldn't you be worried that they're being a bit too lovey-dovey? Because I think in the original game, like a Snoot game, they're not that lovey-dovey, right? There's a bit more of that slow burn going on. Not a good one, but they're not immediately, like, weird about it. Shouldn't they be worried that they're just riding a honeymoon high here? Because that's kind of what it should feel like to someone that's a bit more, like, socially ingrained, right? Anna feels like the kind of person who might have done some gossip on relationships, so she should be a bit more concerned about the specifics of how this is panning out. Like, yeah, I get it, you're in love, but Anon, it's really easy to say you're in love when you're riding that first high, you know? It's really easy to say, oh, I can quit anytime, when you haven't even done it once. Sure did. So now they're alone again. I don't get it. This fic does really weird things that like set up its scenes. Did I think I said this yesterday. Oh shit. God, that last footage is gone. Yeah, I had some good arguments there about like the nature of the written medium and how because there's no visual element, you kind of have to describe and set things up, and you can't have too many speakers at a time because conversations with more than 4 people become super difficult to oversee because you constantly have to research who it is. Something visual novels don't struggle with because they can just have characters light up or move and so forth. And as a result, you want your main cast in a written story to generally be a bit tighter because you don't want to constantly have characters talk with each other all the damn time. You don't need that constant cross-pollination. Ugh. Maybe that's why fanfics are so horribly overwritten. It doesn't matter that you're single. Weird thing to say for a guy who knows that his sister literally has a fucking boyfriend right over there. Like, how is this a victory at this point? Maybe she could be like, yeah, I've been dating Reed and I know that you know. Which would be fucking great. That'd be a nice clapback. But unfortunately, Anna thinks he's gay. Which is a weird thing to just kind of assign to someone, and a little rude. Just like those weirdos who are like, this is my male lesbian. And all I can say about that is, did you ask him? Or are you just one of those weird women where it's like, no, I don't have sex with men. Having sex with men is bad. I have a sexual purity to keep up. So, therefore, any men I have sex with is a male lesbian. I'm cheating. I don't get that shit. I just fucking don't. Like, you're being a Mormon, man. You can't just soak and pretend you didn't have sex. It's not how this shit works. Do you not know? Do you really think God is going to sit there and go, oh, you know, I follow the letter of the law, not the intent. I told you not to kill anyone, but I guess indirectly you caused a nuclear meltdown. I guess that's not your fault then. I don't think any God that abides by those rules is a God worth listening to. I don't think that heaven's going to be great either. Sounds like the kind of place that's going to be very tight on regulations. In the worst possible ways. Ugh. Also, if you follow the spirit of things, it's a lot easier to make decisions on things. Because the written law, human communication, is always fallible. God, I had a whole fucking thing last night where I was wondering about, like, are opinions really different from facts? Isn't an opinion just stating a fact about how you feel about something? Isn't the very virtue of human communication such that anything you say about your own feelings is true no matter how you put it? Like, you can lie about your feelings, but is it a lie? Is it a non-factual statement at that point? Because human communication is more than the words you say. It's also the posture and everything else. And there's a certain truth to the fact that you're trying to spare someone's feelings. It's gonna be one of those topics where I find an actual smart people doing big smart things about it, the real philosophers, and it's like, no, Safi, we had that conversation like 5 decades ago. You're a little late to the fucking party. A massive ick. She's gonna fucking climb a tree like a monkey. Man, every single goddamn person around here is like, what the hell are those fuckers up to? At least 30 feet. It's pretty high for a tree, damn. Why would you make this mistake? Why the hell would you make that mistake? This implies that Anon's sense of direction is based on the relative positioning of the people he's looking at, instead of his own relative positioning, which is fucked up! Also, listen, half of the reason I'm skipping through this stuff is because otherwise I'm going to do this again, right? You're looking twice. Stop it. Slight moment of peace. Ugh. So let me put my little beans down, right? This is the third-ish time that Anon and Anna have had like a heart-to-heart in like 3 scenes or so. These motherfuckers are on each other's fucking lips. We had fun together as kids. Yes, we know that. You've mentioned that several times. Have I been a bad sister? Jesus, fuck. Maybe the best way to describe this is that they had one argument they should be having, and they're just stretching it out over 3 conversations, which is not how conversations work in writing. Generally speaking, you want to leave in a different direction than you started. You want it to feel like something changed and happened, and the next conversation could be anything as a result of that. Jesus fucking Christ. Talking about the rooftop. Didn't think I could do that on my own. Well, she's not wrong. But she's not wrong. You know, this music sounds so much better when it properly loops. Kind of a downside is I don't know how to make things loop properly. Something I've been wondering for a good long while, actually. The multiple situations where I've wanted that. Would it be that much of a bother to open Audacity and just clip it off? Just big old axe. To help your brother. No. I feel like you need to... Hold up, I need to... You could have done more. I don't think you understand, Alan. The way she's talked and acted sounds more like she feels obligated to help you. Like, the way all this comes together is not that she wants to help you because she feels like she wants to, or that she loves you. It's far more that she feels like she has an obligation as your older sister and she can't let go because you're a fuck-up. And if she lets go, you're gonna fuck up. You're my brother and we have our differences, but you're... Shit! You're my twin brother, you idiot. I'll always love you. Despite the stupid shit we say and do. I really got your guts a few weeks ago. Nothing sour between us without ever trying. Took mom coming in to cool off the fire. Think that's perfect? I'm golden child to you. Your mom showed up out of nowhere. Similar to how Fang Spears showed up out of nowhere. Like, there are a bunch of times where characters just pop out of the fucking ether just to have a talk. This fic is very oddly written if you look at it from that perspective. Like, I understand having characters show up from time to time, but God, just crowbarred in there and they have a big moment. At least the parent, right, exists in a space where they're somewhat clarified before they show up, but Fang Spears, fuck, man. Like, Mo does that too, but the one reason you kind of give Mo a pass is they invite themselves into his abode. The problem is that it was never really hinted at that Fang and him have that relationship, so it's a bit more, I sure do. If I wasn't hiding, I'd be... It's a really weird relationship these two have. You know, I don't want you to, but I'm glad you did. Because that makes sense. You think he's a good guy? You think he sucks penises? It's such a weird thing to say to the guy who is so antisocial. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man, but does it really feel like Anon's actually built friendships? The track team was your idea, by the way. And like, science and math is entirely incidental and accidental. You didn't do all that much with Reed. All things considered. I'd say Trish, maybe, but like, come on. There's like a really hard limit to how much Anon's really done compared to what Anon almost certainly has as her backstory. Reed's cool. He's reliable, you know? Reliable. Like how he played that destructive video on the fucking, you know, the teleprompter. Reliable. You know? You can trust that he'll do no wrong. Jesus Christ. I just feel like they're having the wrong conversation. Like, don't you have, like, some lingering issues about college, and you're, like, talking about this relationship that feels like she doesn't... Like, I don't know what we're doing here. She spits off the tree. How the fuck can you see that far? It's a fucking wad of spit, man. You're up dozens of feet. It's a blob of water. And yesterday clearly showed I don't know how to find the right people. That would definitely kill your sense of self. And with Anon's big performance at the track team, it's kind of the opposite, ain't it? You know your last best friend group at rock bottom? I didn't just discuss those videos. Makes you think bad. Oh yeah, Anon's coming clean about this. Kind of a weird roundabout, but I guess we're here. Yeah, I recall that Anon vaguely mentioned that he didn't like him very much. But he did mention that they talked behind her back. They talk bad about you, Ana. Try to be plaintive. God fucking damn, man. This is why I skip over the text. It's like shit like this just sets me off immediately. Emphasizing all I know is I lay out the truth. While you're in front of the public eye, I faded into the background. Because of that, I got to know what those assholes... Because of that, I got to know what assholes the people around you were. No one paid me any attention when I was around. Yeah, you fade into the background. You already mentioned that. And that... Like, why did you start with that? Why didn't you, like... This needs a rewrite. It could be a bit snappier. Yeah, this is really weird. It's like it's doubling down on everything. It's doubling down on Anon fades behind. It's doubling down on their assholes. This whole thing can be summarized as, while I was in the public guy, I faded into the background. You really hear some stuff from people, like how much they talk behind your back, and that's all you need. I like how the teachers were stupid enough. They should know you. You're that loser kid that they laugh about in the teachers' lounge. Yeah, this needs a rewrite, man. This sentence feels like it's trying to be two sentences that are the same thing. When was the last time that any of them contacted you? I mean, it was always kind of a question of, like, if Anne has such a good social life, why is she getting inkoed? No way. Get this Black Knight out of here. Oh, you got the power. You got the might. No way. What a goofy little song. It's a pinball machine. You better than to Rose Seller even ask. Those people care. They probably call you. I mean, they have. They have literally made calls to you when they're worried. Hell, they were the ones that could officially let a cosplay. Are we all talking about it? I mean, doesn't she like anime? Why does she need to be talked into it? Also, can I just point the fuck out how much of a, like, long-term plan it is to get someone to go to a convention, to go to an anime convention when they were 16, they're 18. So it's been 2 years, and they sent the information to who and why? Where did they put up this footage? How did someone find it? Why didn't anyone tell her? Like, there's a weird series of jumps here that just feel like these guys planned this 2 years in advance, which is really weird. Like, she moved out. Why are you still bothering with this lady? And it's nothing for long several seconds. When she moves, Display both news inside, blah, blah. Motherfucking cuts! Bunch of cunt suckers. Fuck, fuck, fuck! My sister better be smart, but she needs some help laying things out sometimes. Like a shirt and pants on the bed. Fold them up. There you go. God damn it. I haven't even thought about that. Anyway, I hate that what you're saying makes sense. You were thinking about them? Reached out to them? That's such a... Like, how the fuck... Like, this is such a roundabout thing, man. It feels a little too roundabout. Like, with Anon, I can imagine that after everything that happened, that shit would just be circulating online, and you could find it in certain places, right? Because Anon's a 4chaner. You know... Clearly, there exists a section of the internet that would certainly be circulating the shit for the shits and the giggles. But Anna's stuff is entirely private. Like, someone would have to have the wherewithal to go looking there. The important part is that very few people know where this could be from, so like the Naomi counter is going up exclusively because Naomi's one of the few people who could figure out where she's from and get into contact with them in any reasonable capacity. I know that looking on Facebook isn't too difficult, but, you know, there's... It really depends on how much you hate someone, and I think Naomi's like the only person that has that kind of motivation. Maybe Trish? Trish and Naomi could actually be working together on this. That would make sense. Trish has the kind of street smarts to find this stuff out, and Naomi has the access to the needed information to build the bridges. Better this way. Jesus! Like I said, this chapter's full of Jesus. They're my friends, yeah. I don't like this story very much. It's like... Anna, you were doing so well, and then it turns out you sucked. It's kind of nasty. It's kind of nasty. Anon gets all the work, gets all the big boy praise. Which, honestly, the story isn't really addressing that switcheroo all that well, either. Remember Brittany? Oh, when she transferred, I was left with the rest of the group. I had to make do, so I thought I could just go and make another group. What does Brittany have to do with this? Oh, what else in the background, whatever. Talk their petty bullshit. It sounds to me, Aina, like you were just kind of making yourself miserable for no good reason. Also, if you had to make Peacemaker with them, why the fuck would they come after you? Oh, sorry, I still have a search function on. I don't... I don't see why you were involved with this in that way. Like, why did they kick you out? You know, this feels like the kind of shit that Anon would make up so that his sister would stay with him, you know? It doesn't feel like the truth. These guys are all great. What a great thing to say. I'm sure they won't stab you in the back. If you wanted to write a depressing ending one, they do. We chose well. What a weird way to put it. Because I would like to point out that the reason you're friends with Nasser is because you're on the track team. More than anything. And she shares some classes with him. I assume you should share some classes with him too. Probably. Rose and Stella because of the gardening club, which was also part of showing you around. I don't know what to tell you, man. You didn't fucking choose these friends. You kind of stumbled into them. You didn't sit in a lineup and go, that guy. Like you more than me. I don't think you ever fucking hang out with them anyway. It's a bit of a dork. I call them a good demon payment done. Okay, we gotta talk about Reed apparently. Ugh. Also, this video's going on for a while, and I don't want this to be 1 hour and tiny ass